Hello everyone, this is the Dream It Alive show. I'm your host, Ash Kumra, co-founder of DreamItAlive.com. DreamItAlive.com is all about visualizing, manifesting, and making your dreams happen. We provide visualization tools, online dream boards, and helpful personal development content so that you can become the best version of yourself. Check it out at DreamItAlive.com. I'm really excited about our guest today. Her name is Carey Peters, and she is the co-founder of an amazing program called the Holistic MBA. Why I wanted Carey on the show is because we all need coaches, gurus, guides, mentors, fellow kindred dreamers to help us achieve our dreams and goals. And I wanted to talk to someone who's had experience coaching coaches, because I'm curious, the coaching model, the coaching world is such a huge market as a consumer and also as a business opportunity, of course. And someone who understands the whole industry can hopefully guide us to figuring out, what to look for in our ideal coach or self-help guide, or however you want to label it, something to help you manifest those dreams. And also as a career calling, because her program, Holistic MBA, is an international coach training company that provides health and wellness coaches the ability to master art and science and business of coaching. And it's pretty impressive. Her and her partner have trained over 6,000 coaches around the world, which is pretty impressive. And Carey's also been featured on a featured health coach on the TV series Reluctantly Healthy, and the show's now actually on the CW network or on Yahoo Online. And if you guys are interested to learn more about her program after this interview, it's holisticmba.com. So, Carey, how are you today?
I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you.
I'm so excited and so happy to get to spend this time with you and with your listeners.
Thank you. I really means a lot hearing that. I'm curious, Carey, how did you get involved in what you're doing right now? Give us a little background on your story.
Man, let me tell you, what I'm doing right now is like a complete left turn in my life. I never in my life expected that I would be a coach, that I would be a health coach, that I'd be training other coaches. Never in my life. I went to a theater conservatory. I was a professional actress for many years in Chicago in their theater scene. And it never occurred to me that I could do anything else, but I knew that there was something missing. Like I would go to the theater, I felt like I was living my dream. I was doing 8 shows a week at Steppenwolf or big theaters in Chicago, and I would come home at night and I would binge eat every night a pint of Ben & Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie frozen yogurt every single night. And this happened for like 7 years. And that's not even counting the food that I was binging on during the day. It was crazy. And I remember one night I was actually coming home from the theater. It was a terrible snowstorm in Chicago. Horrible. Have you ever been to Chicago, Ash?
Oh, yes, I've been there.
So, the snowstorms are crazy pants. So I'm out driving. Nobody's supposed to be driving. But I didn't have any frozen yogurt at home. And I was freaking out. So I'm driving around the city. I can barely see, looking for a 2 for $5 sale for Ben & Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie frozen yogurt. And I remember at one moment I was at a stoplight and the snow was coming down. And the way the stoplight hit the snow, all of a sudden it was like my hood, like time stood still. The colors changed. Everything, my perspective shifted, and I just knew. I was like, this is not right. I'm risking my life to go out and find this frozen chocolate fudge brownie frozen yogurt because I don't feel like I can cope if I don't have it. But I'm living my dream, and all of a sudden it was like my life flashed in front of me. I was like looking at my finances, and it was not what I wanted them to be. I was looking at my love life. It was not what I wanted it to be. I was looking at this career that I thought was my dream, but I was so unfulfilled that I had to come home and binge eat every night and throughout the day. And I just knew in that moment, I was like, I have to get something. I have to get right with my life. Something has to change because this is not what my life is supposed to be. And that's how I kind of started on the journey of ultimately discovering coaching. And because I had such an issue with sugar addiction and binge eating, I actually started out in health coaching.
You talk about something that I'm reading about more and more, and something that many of us have, dealt with. I personally have dealt with some food addictions of some sorts, and so I can relate to what you're talking about. I'm curious, what do you think it takes from a holistic level to get rid of your addiction? Is it like, what are some mindful grounding type of advice that you recommend either for clients yourself or for coaches to share with others?
Well, this is a great question. And considering this is a sort of a journey of many years in my life, I would say that the first thing to understand about a food addiction is you can start easy and see, well, is this a physical problem? Is there just something that, am I not eating correctly and causing craving for myself? That's a very, easy sort of physical fix that you can learn from any health coach. But if you change what you're eating and how you're eating and it's still happening, then what you have to understand is that the addiction itself is not a problem. Not the problem. I thought for many years, like, oh, food is my enemy, this addiction is the problem. The addiction was the symptom. The problem was that I was not in alignment with who I was and expressing that in my life. And that the only way I could deal with the tension of not being who I really was by eating. If I did not have that coping mechanism, it was actually a gift. It was trying to help me get through the day. Because without it, then I was going to have to face the fact that this career of acting that I had been spending my whole life on was actually not right for me, that the way my life was set up was not right, and that I would have to face all of that, and I didn't know how at the time. So we have to understand that the addiction itself is not the problem. It's a messenger. It's a gift. It's the universe opening a door for you and saying, hey, come look inside at the other things that you're not looking at when you're engaging in this behavior. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense, and thank you for sharing that. I know it was a little kind of on the fly kind of question and answer, but that answer was what I was looking for, sincerely. I want to dive into a little more on, how one could be more grounded and more in line with attaining that dream life. Because I feel personally that it's one thing to visualize, it's one thing to have an audacious vision board, it's one thing to have the best coaches in the world, but if you don't have the right internal foundation, treating your body like a temple, it doesn't matter. It's like buying a Ferrari, being able to drive a $150,000, $200,000 Ferrari, but you only have like $100 in your savings bank. It's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So I just want to dive a little further into that. Then we'll get into the awesome stuff that you're doing with Holistic MBA. What are the habits you do every day? I'm really curious because someone who coaches must have some awesome habits that they do. And I want you to go specific as to meditations, visualizing, certain foods you might eat, mantras, I don't know, tantra, whatever it is. I just want to know, what is it that you do to stay where you are right now?
Yeah, this is a great question. And actually, the first, number one, most important thing that has changed my life and continued to help me have success in every area of my life has been the transformational coaching method that we'll talk about later. It's a coaching method and methodology that helps you be different without having to remember to be different. So instead of using willpower, for example, with binge eating, like, I'm going to go call a friend, I'm going to take a walk, well, that's only going to work for someone like me. That'll work for like a day or two, and then I'm back to the ice cream. So I had to actually completely change the wiring of my thought patterns and beliefs and who I believe myself to be to get a change with that. So one of my habits is that I am a client every week for the transformational coaching method. So I have my own coach, always. And people will say, well, what's been the secret of your success? Since 2009, I have had a coach in the transformational coaching method. That has been the number one thing. Without that, I would not be doing what I'm doing, period. Because I tried everything. I tried visualization. I tried EFT. I tried nutrition. I tried therapy. I tried hypnotherapy. I tried vision boards, law of attraction, and all of that stuff is wonderful, and it led me to the transformational coaching method, thank God. But that is the number one thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, because ultimately what you have to get to a point in your life to resolve addictions or anything that is not what you want it to be in your life is understanding what is truly the full expression of you and who you really authentically are versus what other people want or expect you to be. So what I do for myself, especially as a leader of thousands of people, which could potentially be like, whoa, am I a leader? That seems very intimidating. But what I do every day, really specifically, I wake up in the morning, and before I get up, I have an intention for the day. I don't do a very long meditation, but I lay there and I think, what is it that I want to experience today? What are the one or two things that I really also want to accomplish in my business and in my life? I don't overload myself with to-do items, because if I'm overloaded, I won't accomplish anything. So I get very specific about what is my intention for how I want to feel that day and what I want to accomplish. So, for example, I might wake up in the morning, I know I'll be coaching a group later in the day, and I'll say my intention is to be of service in delivering an outstanding coaching session for these people. I want everyone to walk away feeling wowed and like they just got exactly what they wanted and more. So that would be an example of an AM intention. I also have a really specific schedule for how I nourish myself during the day. I mean, being a health coach, I know how important it is. And when I forget, I hire my own health coach to remind me how important it is to feed myself well and eat good, clean food throughout the day regularly.
What does clean food mean? Sorry to interrupt you, but I hear that all the time. What does that mean?
It's really simple. It basically means fewer chemicals. The cleaner the food, the less chemicals are in it. So you're talking about things that are probably not packaged and processed. They're things that are either vegetables or grains or beans or like lean protein or fat. Stuff that either doesn't come in packages, or if it does come in a package, then it has like less than 5 ingredients, and you know what all those ingredients are. Like you can pronounce them, you recognize them, so that you're eating fewer chemicals. In health coaching, we teach people, don't worry about calories, worry about chemicals. Worry about the quality of your food. That's what that means.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. No, I'm just absorbing what you're saying. That's really helpful. Thank you for sharing that. One more question on this, and then I want to dive into your program.
Sure.
Tell us that defining moment in your life when you decided enough is enough. I'm going to make a change and, strive to be the best version of myself. Kind of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly that moment in the snow in Chicago when I was trying to chocolate fudge brownie that really was the moment where I just said, this isn't right. It can't be right. And I just started on a journey of searching. And then when I found coaching, I thought, this was it. I am going to be a health coach. I'm going to make a great living. Well, I didn't know how to run a business. And I didn't think I would have to learn. I thought, I just go, this is where I could get on a soapbox, but I thought, I just go to one, coach certification, and then I just become a coach. I know everything. That's just not how it works. That's just the start. You also have to learn how to run a business as a coach. I mean, good news is that a coaching business is actually fairly simple. I have no business background. I went to a theater conservatory. My business partner, Stacey, worked in a grocery store. I mean, she was a cookie and pie taster. So it's not that it has to be complicated, because if it was, we probably couldn't do it. But you do have to have a business structure as a coach. So once I learned that, then things really started to change. But it all really started at that intersection in Chicago in the freezing cold and a horrible snowstorm.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to make you feel jealous, but I'm in sunny California right now, so I can't really relate to the weather thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm in sunny California right now, too, because I've learned in Chicago I have to escape the winter. People will ask me, how do I deal with seasonal affective disorder? I actually did an episode on Reluctantly Healthy about the winter blues, and one of my main tips was go someplace funny.
That's funny.
That's what I do.
Well, talk to us about Holistic MBA, how you got, what's the vision behind it, and, tell us about it.
Yeah, well, Holistic MBA started because, like I was saying, when I became a coach, I didn't really understand the business part of it. I just thought, clients are just going to come, right? Isn't that what happens? And isn't this easy? And I realized as I was starting out as a health coach, no, it's actually not quite easy. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I have to figure out what I'm doing. And so I went on a journey of understanding business and marketing, particularly in the coaching business, particularly in health and wellness and personal development coaching. And then my business partner around the same time, she actually had a different experience than me. She came out of her health coaching school and just killed it. She went from 0 to 72 clients in under 10 months. She was making $96,000 as a health coach in her first year out of training. Very highly unusual. And I was interviewing people who were doing really well as health coaches. I figured, somebody knows how to do this. This is actually a really important key for your listeners who are in a position where they're frustrated with something in their life, but they don't know how to change it, or they're not sure what to do. Is to remember that you don't always have to know the answer. Somebody knows. Somebody has figured it out. It's just a matter of finding out, where is that person, what do they know, and how can you learn what they know. So I went to my now business partner at the time. She was just a colleague. And I said, so tell me, I interviewed her for an ebook. Tell me, what did you do? How did you do it? And my following and her following got so excited when we did an interview together. They said, oh my gosh, you guys are like my dream team. If I could learn from both of you, I would be so thrilled. And we heard that so many times that we just decided, wow, maybe we're supposed to work together. So we huddled in Los Angeles, actually, at First Cafe in West Hollywood, and we huddled there for 4 hours and started really hashing out what works and what doesn't work to build a coaching business, either in your local area or online or both. And we decided that we were going to share that there were many people who were asking us for that information. So we created Holistic MBA to share that. It was amazing. We were able to help so many coaches with their business. But what really surprised us is about a year or two in, people said, I love this business stuff. It's awesome, but I'm really not confident about my coaching skills. How did you learn how to coach? You coach, so you laser in. It's deep, it's powerful. How do I learn how to do that? And so we were like, well, we'll show you. So then we created what we call the transformational coaching method to teach people how we coach, so that, because what coaches end up learning, and to speak to Ash, you mentioned about coaching as a career and what to look for in a coach. If you're looking for a coach, or if you're considering coaching as a career, one thing that you have to realize is that when you're coaching someone, whether it's about health or business or money or relationships, the information that you share with your clients, like, for example, when you ask me, Ash, what's a clean diet? I'll tell you, right? I'll tell you the information. But you knowing what a clean diet is and you going out and actually eating clean are two totally different things. So a coach's job is, yes, to know information, but more importantly, to help people do the actions, to follow through, to stay motivated, and to do kind of what they already know to do. Because that is the main challenge. That's where a coach really becomes absolutely invaluable in anyone's life, is to be able to help someone follow through, stay motivated, and do what they're supposed to do so that they can get the results that they want. Okay.
No, that makes a lot of sense. How does your business work? Do you do online courses? Do you do conferences? I mean, tell us how the structure works.
Yeah, so we teach, as you know, we teach business skills. We teach how to coach, which sadly in a lot of coaching schools you don't learn. It's very odd, but it's true. So we teach those two, and we teach them in a combination of online courses and live experiences. So, for example, when someone takes the transformational coaching method training, we're sharing a course right now. We call it the deep dive, and it's a sneak peek into the training. It's a 4-week course, but we include a ticket to our live training. So that you'll get the 4-week online course, but then you can come into a room live. And the thing that's really fun about that is that you get to have the online experience, which is really convenient for most people, but then you also get to get into a room live and practice the skills you're learning, learn more skills, get with other people, have a really strong community around you. One of the things that's extremely important as you're going through your dreams, and why Dream It Alive is so amazing, is that community is everything. You have to be surrounded by people who believe in you and believe in what you're doing. So yeah, it's a combination of online and live.
That's awesome. What are the trends this year, 2015 and beyond, that really excite you? Like, what are some coaching-related themes or self-growth types of things that you're just like, it's exciting?
What really is exciting me is in the world of health and wellness, health coaching is going to start really coming into its own. Because what major top doctors, insurance companies, supplement companies are realizing is that information is only as good as what people will do with it. It doesn't matter how much people know. It only matters what they do. And so what they're finding and what they're starting to do is they're starting to add coaching to medical practices. They're adding coaching in corporate. They're adding health coaching. People are being incentivized financially to take care of themselves. Supplement companies are, instead of buying supplements online, well, you buy them online and then you get health coaching in addition. Even I think Weight Watchers is adding a coach that you can call on the phone. So what's really exciting to me is the power of the coaching is really starting to come into play, because it's well known, all the top diseases, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, they're all lifestyle diseases, totally preventable with really small changes. The problem is people can't make the changes. That's where coaches come in. And I'm really excited about that, because the more people have access to health coaches, the healthier and happier our world's going to be.
That's a great segue to my last question is, if you could talk to that woman who was in Chicago who wanted to make that change, the blizzard, the food addiction, all that stuff that's in them right now at the moment, and now as a coach, if you could spend 1 hour with that person, what advice would you give them?
I would say that, first of all, it's a really beautiful question, so thank you for asking. It gives me a really lovely opportunity to reflect back on what a journey has been. And what I would say to that person at that time is that the instinct and feeling you have in your gut about something needing to change in your life is absolutely correct. I would say that your gut is always correct. And I would also say that God, universe, spirit, whatever you call the thing that you believe is greater than you, has a plan for you that is way bigger and potentially completely different than what you might have expected. And if you follow your gut and you follow your instincts, instead of covering them up with food or alcohol or shopping or overwork or whatever it is that we do to numb ourselves to our internal knowledge, if you open up to that instinct and just go on the journey, yeah, you're going to be scared. Yeah, you're not always going to know the answers. And that it is okay. There is a larger plan that is unfolding. The other thing that I would say, is it okay to get spiritual and woo-woo with you?
I would love that.
I firmly believe in one of my daily practices is connecting every day with my own angels and guides. And the energies that are, of the non-physical part of me that is leading me through this life experience. We are never alone. Things are never random. There are forces at work that are leading you to exactly what you want. And that we can trust in our gut instincts. And that if we don't know how to do something or we're not sure, first of all, there's always a way to have what we want, always. And if we don't know how, chances are very good that somebody does and can teach us. And that your gut and your instinct, when you ask and you say, show me, lead me, will take you to exactly where you need to be. Exactly. Every time. As a matter of fact, I'm actually, for the listeners I'm actually a very shy, introverted kind of person, which most people don't believe.
I find that hard to believe.
For so many years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to believe. I'm very introverted and very shy. And so I really have to ask my, spirit, angels, guides, show me, lead me. When I walk into a room full of strangers, I am usually very anxious about it. So I say to them, show me why I'm here. Lead me to who I'm supposed to talk to. How can I be of service? Show me how I can serve. Show me how I can be a resource for all the people around me. And that's really how I live. Because I do believe that all of us, we're here to be of service to the world in some way. We're here to channel spirit, source, love, God, whatever you call it, in the way that we uniquely can, in the way that our sort of soul decided and co-created with us before we came into this world of how we were going to do it. So I constantly and consistently lean on and ask for guidance in that way. It never, and if you look back, I'm sure, Ash, this is true for you and for everyone who's listening, when you look back in your life experience and you heard that little voice whispering to you, it's never been wrong, and it never will be.
That's true. Well, Thank you so much for doing this interview, and we'll definitely promote your website and other material on the interview page when we promote this. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Oh, my gosh. I mean, what you're doing is absolutely wonderful, and you're opening up a window in someone's soul to say, yes, I do get to have what I want. I do get to change my life, and then you're giving them a way to do it. It's really beautiful.
I appreciate that. Well, have a good day.
Thank you so much.